All right, let's talk about Jim Baker. How many of you are up to date on yesterday's bombshell that the regular news will completely disappear by today? All right. Here's what has been confusing me for a while. I didn't know how many people there were named Jim Baker who were lawyers. This is not a joke. Until yesterday, I was telling myself, God, why is it there are so many lawyers named Jim Baker, right? Because there was a famous James Baker in the Reagan administration, right? And I always think of him as a famous lawyer named James Baker. But it seemed like lately, I kept hearing stories about, there'd be blah, 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 this story, and blah, 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 Jim Baker. And then I'd hear a completely unrelated story, and it'd be like blah, 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 Jim Baker. And the whole time I'm thinking to myself, God, there must be so many lawyers in D.C. named Jim Baker. Like, why is that so common? And do you know what the answer is? Same fucking guy. Jim Baker, this attorney, the attorney for Twitter, the top attorney for Twitter, was the same guy who was central to running the Russia collusion hoax. He's the guy that Steele brought the dossier to. He was, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't he part of Perkins Coie? He's part of Perkins Coie, which is the Democrats' law firm. The ones that did every dirty trick you can imagine, they were implicated in all of it. He's connected to the central bad figures for everything that's happened for 5 years. He's the dirtiest politician. He's not a politician, I'm sorry. And since he's a lawyer, let me not defame him without proof. I'll back that up a little bit. All right. It appears there is evidence that suggests, so I think that keeps me clean. There's evidence to suggest, there are allegations against him, that he's like the dirtiest lawyer and he's connected to the Clinton machine and all Democrat stuff. Now, here's the payoff. Here's the part that I thought I was hearing wrong all day yesterday. And Eric Weinstein tweeted, apparently his brain was exploding the same way. So I'll just read his words, because his words capture exactly what I was thinking. He tweeted, I can't quite believe what I'm reading, so let's go slow. It's a common name. See the problem? It's a common name, but they all seem bad lately. It's a common name, but they all seem bad lately. All those Jim Bakers. Every Jim Baker. All right. And then Eric goes on. He goes, the FBI's former attorney. Oh, yeah. So Jim Baker was Comey's guy. He was the FBI's attorney. And the FBI, of course, implicated in all the bad stuff. The FBI's former attorney was hired by previous Twitter management and was the one vetting the Twitter files to be given to Matt Taibbi. And also Barry Weiss. So apparently, I think it was Miranda Devine who noticed that the Twitter files were seeming to miss references to the FBI that everybody expected would be in the documents. But it turns out that those documents were vetted and filtered through the person who was the FBI's, who had been the FBI's main guy. Now, how in the world did this happen? And the further to the joke, it's reality, but it looks like a joke. Further to the reality that is a joke, Elon Musk, who bought the company, didn't know that the holdup with some of those materials is that they were being vetted through the one person out of 8 billion fucking people on the whole fucking planet. There was one person you didn't want in that fucking job, Jim Baker. And he was in that job. Now, quiz me this. Riddle me this. Remember when Musk took over and there were mass quitting? A lot of Twitter people said, I can't survive this situation. I'm out of here. But you know, Jim Baker wasn't one of them. Jim Baker stayed in his job. I wonder what could be more than one reason that Jim Baker would have stayed in the job when so many disaffected people, especially ones who really, really liked the Democrats, they were leaving quite rapidly. And yet, Jim Baker, who one imagines is very employable, somebody who would have no problem getting another job right away, why would he stay under the Musk control when that would be everything bad for a person like Jim Baker? Why? Could it be, oh, it's because he needs the job. Needs the paycheck. That's why, right? He needs the paycheck. That's why anybody keeps the job. But is there any other reason, any second explanation that a person exactly like him would stay in the position longer than you would imagine they would? It seems he was in the perfect position to cover up his own behavior and that of people who he might want to protect. Now, I'm not alleging he did that because, he's a lawyer. I don't want to get sued. I'm just saying that if you had two explanations for your observation, I wouldn't discount either one of them. He might need a paycheck. Possible. Maybe he's not as employable as I imagine. But have you seen the meme that teaches you how to talk to your friend who believes in every conspiracy theory? It's like a meme of, one friend consoling another. This is how you talk to your friend who believes every conspiracy theory. There. You were right about everything. You were right about everything. That's how you treat your friend who believes every conspiracy theory. So Musk immediately fired Jim Baker, or as Musk says, he exited him. And then Musk was asked on Twitter, did you ask Jim Baker to explain why he was in the middle of vetting this stuff when it didn't make sense that he should have been? And Musk said, yes, they did ask him to explain, but his explanation was ... unconvincing. I love that Musk basically called him a liar in public on Twitter. So the head of Twitter just called the top counsel for Twitter a liar on Twitter. That doesn't get any better. Our entertainment value, I'm getting my money's worth from Twitter, let me tell you. Let me tell you, the dollar for the per hour of entertainment, very good value. So Jonathan Turley did a good article I would refer you to. So you can see all the ways that Jim Baker has been connected to the worst things that have happened lately. He has like central roles and all the sketchy things happening all the sketchy things.